My last, probably this is probably gonna be my last video in Michigan. This is gonna be my last video in Michigan. It's a beautiful morning. You can see the tree line. It's starting to come in with the spring starting to bloom. I'm sure if you've watched my videos, you can see the development of the of the forest because I've come here so much. I wanted to go to the other place. I love the other place. I love this place too. You know, this place, Munson Park, was just absolutely beautiful, breathtaking place. They maintain it really well here. Lots of land, lots of room to play. I used to bring my kids here on the playground. What we played like lava tag. It was really cool. Yeah, this is a great place. Probably this is my second favorite place to go walking around. Second favorite. The little park by the river, you guys might have seen me walk past. It's not too bad, but there's more like trails here. This is what I like. And I actually, when I was walking here last night, I'll probably come here again tonight, this afternoon. But I'm not going to make a video. I don't even really have anything to talk about. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I actually found like some ruins back here. And I looked up I asked AI if there is a building that, because it's dilapidated. It looks like it was made like hundreds of years ago or something. And if I can find it, I'll show you. I never seen it. I just noticed it yesterday. It's pretty crazy. One room basically building. You know, you could tell that it wasn't made the new time, so it had been made hundreds of years ago. And it's just one building way out here, you know. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe like what I said. I just seen like some bricks laying on the ground. I've never seen it before, but usually I'm lost in thought or making a video or yeah. So I'll try to keep an eye out so I don't pass it up, so I can show you guys. It's actually pretty cool. I've seen when I was in Washington State, there's like a ghost town or whatever, one of these places, and I took my kids to go out hiking just to check it out, and that's the ruins look pretty similar, so you can tell it wasn't like something that was like a modernly built structure, that like a shed or something. It's kind of weird how it's placed, so definitely from a long time ago. I'll try to keep an eye out. Yeah, this is gonna probably be my last video for a while. I feel like I just need to shut up. I feel like I've said enough. I feel like I put enough information out. I think I need to be less in the matrix and just really focusing on building up my finances at this point. Anyone that knows my story, well, I lost my job 3 months ago, and I mean, I've been living off of, it's kind of debt, it's kind of crypto, it's kind of cash. I don't know. Basically what happened was I don't know what I was thinking, especially when they were explaining it to me, because like basically I decided to consolidate my credit, my debt, okay? And when you do a debt consolidation, they tell you to stop paying on the credit cards and then your credit score takes a dump. And I wasn't really thinking at the time, possibly even staying where I was at in that apartment that I'm currently at. And you know, trying to, like, I was at the first of the year when I did this, I was like, I'm going to like really focus on my finances, trying to get my debt down, because I haven't been, man. I like all last year I was like smoking weed, just kind of like existing, you know, not going anywhere, not doing anything. It's like paying my bills, getting by. And yeah, I was planning on consolidating my debt and making it easier for me to pay it off quicker. Honestly, it might have, at the time, if I would have, things fell through, and I just God, the universe was telling me I'm not supposed to be here no more. So, you know, I lost my job like a week later. Honestly, that's what happened. I basically lost my job a week later, and I'm like, damn. So right now, moving out of Michigan. This is my last day in Monroe, Michigan. I'm not telling anybody where I'm going, but it is in Missouri. But this town is like, so I'm going to go live with my mom. One of my kids coming with me too. My other one's I don't want to. Anyway, so like, yeah, it's I don't know. I kind of just I don't want to talk about people's personal life. So that's why I'm trying not to. I don't like to talk about, you know, my family's personal life or what's going through. I kind of just want this to. That's why I leave a lot of people out, and just to keep the privacy. So yeah, you know, it is very humbling experience having to move into my mom's house, and I think that I'll be able to find a job there. I've been kind of stressed that doesn't look like there's too many places that are hiring like they were. I think that we will be able to get something. I think that will that's a huge adjustment. There could be some bright things, like could possibly end up moving next door to my mom. Not that like, it might not take that long, but the thing I've learned about life is when I get my hopes up about something, it usually doesn't pan out. So I'm not getting my hopes up. You know, it would be amazing to like be living right next door to my mom. So that's one less idiot that she would have to worry about moving in next door. So yeah, I mean, it's a humbling experience, and like, you guys can go ahead and rip on me for having to go live with my mommy at being a middle-aged man. You know, hopefully you don't ever have to have the experience I've had, and you understand that, you know, mistakes happen. You know, it could be a lot worse. Things could be a hell of a lot worse for me. Basically, why I have to is because my credit score is taking a dump. So people don't look at me. My credit score was good enough to live where a lot of different places, but yeah, you know, what I have learned about life is, you know, maybe God doesn't humble you if you want to talk smack on me, because I have to go this route for a little while. You know, like, understand that it is like when you don't have a job lined up, and I kind of do, and there's opportunities, but what that tells me is you haven't really moved around, and places like getting a job, not having an address or a home residence is a hard thing to do. Getting a place with no job is a hard thing to do. So it's not really the easiest situation to handle. I mean, usually when people leave places, it's for like better opportunities. You know, you have the job lined up, just like when I initially came back here, as I came back here and I had to come up here for some business reasons, and like I said, I'm keeping people's privacy, so you don't need to know about what's going on. And yeah, like, you know, when I lost my job, which, listen, man, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. The job, the place I worked, it's a good company. You know, I'm not gonna rag on it. I think that there's problems there. I think that I'm not gonna go too into depth about them, but I mean, it's a good company, man. Like, that's why I went back, and things just kind of didn't work out socially like I figured, but it's cool, man. It's cool. I mean, I'm to blame with that too. I take my part why things didn't work out socially here, and you know, things are a lot different than when I lived here before, because I think the lockdowns, I think it changed people a lot, including me. Even though I've already kind of been here, I've already been, you know, it was kind of, for me, it's always been like, I'm an introvert trying to not be an introvert. So yeah, what the lockdowns did was kind of bring the comfort back of me being an introvert, and I've just kind of reveled in it, and I like my solitude. I mean, I definitely like to have other people in my life, you know, like to hang out. I don't like to sit here and hang out with big crowds of people. You know, having like one or two like really, really good people that I can hang out with and be comfortable with is something that is, yeah. So yeah, there's not a lot of jobs here in Michigan. You know, Gretchen Whitmer extended the unemployment, I don't know, what, 36 months, whatever she did. It was like, you know, standard, 18 months of unemployment or whatever. I don't know, 6 months with people. I never had it before. I paid into it for a long time, but you know, I haven't been able to collect that either since I've been here. So, you know, kind of, you know what, it's been happy. I've been kind of just like waiting, you know, for the last 3 months. It's been there's been a lot of self-reflection. There's been anxiety. Like, you know, saying goodbye to my kid. My other kid was pretty hard the other day. It almost felt like when I was a kid leaving my parents. Like, what happened was I would see my dad, you know, for a month out of the year. So it was harder, and if everything was flipped, it'd be probably the same thing. You know, if I only see my mom a month out of the year, I would be like breaking down and feeling that trauma. And that's kind of how I felt, you know. So driving all the way home after I dropped him off, crying, seriously, like, oh, he called me weak. Yeah, I don't think that you can call me weak, go ahead, but definitely don't think I am. But you know, maybe that's what your opinion is, I'm a weak bitch. But I don't know when I'm gonna see him again. And you know, triggers, I've been having this anxiety, man. It's been anxiety, saying goodbye to him. And yeah, I even told him, it's like, I can't wait for this to almost be over, because I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of like saying goodbye to people. I hate, like, that's one of the worst things for me at this point, is saying goodbye to people, man. And it's like, I don't know when I'm gonna see him again. I mean, like, I don't know what's gonna happen, you know, things can change in the future, who knows. But you know, you never know. Like, I know this place is really, really cold, this world, not just Michigan, but just this world in general, where people don't feel connected. And what they do, what I've done is, you know, you got some real world problems that you're having to deal with, and you kind of just go to the distractions because that feels normal, and you kind of just like you don't deal with you're not really present. I don't know, that's me, you know. I'm not really present a lot. I think that real life is boring, to be honest. I think it's boring. I've always thought it was boring. That's why I daydream so much. But I think that you have to have a balance with real life and being in the Matrix. And seeing Gen Z being in the Matrix so much is kind of it is very concerning, because one day these people will just wake up and they'll get bored of the Matrix and they'll want more, because like, yeah, it's cool. I love simulations, man. I love to simulate different things, you know. That's what movies are. That's what TV shows are. That's what video games are. It's a simulation. You're simulating, you know, because real life, we're really constrained of what we can do in real life. We're all, you know, we're held down by so much, whether it's having to eat, drink, sleep, and it's just like video game, your character is, you know, it's escape from reality. And you know, people say, you don't live in reality. Trust me, I live in reality. Yes, you know, a lot of the times I daydream, but still, like, I've gone through plenty of suffering. I've done a lot of these boring jobs, which, you know, at this point, I'm just kind of, I'm not addicted to any games. I don't, you know, like Twitter or whatever. I'm just kind of like, I don't care. You know, I'll post something and, you know, to kind of like pass the time. And I'm pretty sure I'll still use it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be I have nothing else to do with my time. So I might as well just, you know, work and focus on getting my finances straight. I don't have to be a millionaire or nothing like that. All I really care about is just getting my debt down at this point, and then making things a little bit easier for me. I don't, you know what I mean? You know, I think I made some good choices when it comes to assets, and there's a lot of potential with the assets I still have, and I want to keep them because I look at that as like kind of like a retirement. I might be able to retire sooner than later if it does do good, and then, you know, who knows, maybe I won't be able to. I won't be able to do these manual labor jobs that are repetitive for very much longer. I've had a lot of wear and tear on my body. I mean, I can, you know, I can get by for a while. I could probably do another 20 years and just kind of like do the bare minimum, you know what I mean? Well, the last job I got paid off of how fast I worked. So like I was always working harder to make more money, and it really started hurting my body. And I've said this before, like, that'd be cool if we could get paid off what we produce. But when you're old like me, you know, it helped me pay my bills, and I didn't have to work the 40 hours. I barely worked. I didn't crack 40 hours that many times last year, honestly. But for how hard I was working, I was exhausted. If you like how hard I worked, if you broke that down, instead of working 6 or 7 hours a day or whatever I would be working, it was more like 10 hours a day, you know, something like that, 9. So yeah, like, I might not have hit the 40 hours, but trust me, like, how hard I was working, really. And I found the ruins. So, oh, maybe they didn't. Oh, those are logs. Oh, here, wait. It's kind of weird. I know that, no. They kind of built the house with a tree. It's really weird design how they did it. I hope I didn't pass it. I could always circle around again, because I really want to get it on film. I looked it up on AI, and they don't have any record of it. I guess you can go to some place here in the historical record, and they might be able to pull it out, but it's definitely not on the internet. So yeah, it's life is a weird thing, man, and you know, you're doing good, and a couple mistakes, like, dude, this is a dumb mistake. I shouldn't have consolidated my credit. That's my debt. That was a mistake, but it's already going through. I've already did it, and it's kind of like, well, it's already going through, man. I gotta, you know, go with it now. I mean, I've already gave them like $2,000 for them for my debt or whatever. You know, we'll see what happens. I plan on paying down my credit cards, and it would be awesome if I get a couple of jobs really quick, or a job, or at least one job where I can pay, not have to worry about paying for everything. And I don't want to go into too in depth about things. Damn, I thought that was it. Anyway, but yeah, I plan on paying something like it. So if I get there and I have, like, after everything's done, the move and everything, $6,000. But if I have like $6,000 and I have a job and I have money coming in, then I'm definitely gonna sit there and I'm gonna take that and put it towards my debt, maybe even pay my car off, who knows. But I definitely want to get my credit cards paid down. Once I get those paid down, to us, instead of, I don't mind paying, like, you know, $25 on each credit card each month, and there's like 3 of them. It would be nice to be able to pay nothing, but it is what it is. So we'll see. Yeah, so like, people, you know, people can be humbled pretty quickly, you know. I'm very humble, and I'm apprehensive about, like, judging people, especially like the student loans and stuff like that. How people are really struggling, and I'm not gonna sit here and laugh at these people that are about to really feel some pain next month, have their wages garnished, and they didn't prepare for it. They thought that their loans were going to be forgiven. They didn't, I guess, think that, like, Trump would reverse it, or they thought that they were already paid off. And I don't want to judge people, because there's other people can do that. Like, if other people are well off, you know, that's cool. I'm not in any type of situation to be laughing at people financially and their struggles, even if they hate me. You know, that's on, you know, God, the universe. I don't need more bad, like, if it's bad karma. I don't need any more humbleness put on me. I don't want to go any further. I feel right here, rock bottom, but I know I can go further. Like, I'm not even anywhere close to rock bottom. Okay, so I feel fortunate to be where I'm at, and I feel like I have an opportunity to correct things and make things right, instead of, you know, just having nothing. Like, I think that would be such a horrible thing. I would feel horrible to, you know, have to sell all my assets before Bitcoin does start going hyperbolic at some point. That would be unfortunate to see it go up to like $500,000 or $800,000, and then I'm just like, I've already sold it. I sold it right now, and because to claim bankruptcy, they'll just take it. So like, I don't want to claim bankruptcy, and I don't, a lot of people do, and a lot of people are going to claim bankruptcy. They don't have that option, and I'm trying to avoid bankruptcy. I've never gone bankrupt, and hopefully I don't. I feel like I have too much going for me, even though like I know I'm a loser. I'm living in actually I am. I'm gonna be living in my mom's basement. Hopefully it's not that long. Nothing against, my mom, but there's just a lot of people in the house, and I don't want to, back in the old days, people were used to it, but I don't want there to be any type of tension, or I don't want to mess up any type of routines, or I don't want there to be drama or confrontation. I don't like that. I don't like any of that. So my plan is to it's just kind of like somewhere to land, recalibrate my life. I don't want to talk about plans for my kid or whatever, but I don't want to talk about them that much on here. It's for their privacy, so I don't mention them too much. Not because I don't care. I really care about them, but I don't think that they want me talking about them and letting their personal information come out. And I know that, I don't like to talk about anybody in my personal life. Here it is. This is it. I don't know if you can see it. Here's so there's, looks like they use some type of cement. You can see like some bricks. You can see the outline. This is how big it was. Like you can see like the perimeter. You can see like over here how this is like a small, let me see. It's just like there's the other wall right there. You can see it comes over here. You can see how small it is, like how small this house was. And you can see how like it's built in with the tree in there too. Like they built around the tree, which is kind of weird. Here's the other corner. Like they built around the tree. I wonder how it used to look. That's so crazy. Like this would be perfect for me. Like if I had like something like this, like I don't need much space. I just need somewhere for so I can cook, cook, rest, have this is actually perfect. This is about as big as my bedroom, actually. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting find. So yeah, I would be absolutely. It's less for me to have to defend. It's less for me to have to clean. If I had something as big as this, I would like to be able to have it modernized. I would like to have it like a 3D printed one would be really cool. Like a 3D printed couple of houses like this big, like cabin style. That would be so cool. If anybody has resources and they're thinking about that, like here's a good idea, man. This is what I would do if I had resources to be able to have some property. I would be able, if I had the money, like for me, and I've said this in my last, I would definitely, if I had the money to get like 50 acres or something like that, and I would have like 3 or 4 of those style houses built on there, maybe even more, maybe 6. If we couldn't put plumbing in each one, maybe like a little bit of a bathroom where you can just go to the bathroom and take a shower, like a little tiny bathroom that is off of it or something. On each one, I would have like a public bathroom for the community, where people can go. Like there's a couple showers, and There's a few different toilets, you know, like 4 toilets or something. It's just like, yeah, it would suck to have to, you know, in the winter or whatever, to have to go outside and do that, go in the middle of the night or whatever. But what I would do too, if I had the resources, I would have like a ring around, like a ring, like a fence around that, right? And if I had the money, like I was thinking about having like real dogs, like I'd have a ring around so the outside dogs couldn't get inside the community. You know what I mean? And then, because I wouldn't want them pooping wherever. I don't want to step in poop. But then I would have like an outer fence on the outside of like I don't know. I would have like 2 fences, one, and those dogs would be running around the perimeter. So like, I don't know, I'd have like 3 dogs, and then like another fence around that so they can't get out. And it's basically like a defense against predators or people or whatever. But what would be cool too is to use instead of like real dogs, having the AI dogs run around like Mar-a-Lago has the robot dogs. And you know, they're autonomous, they're making sure that there's nothing going on. Or drones would be cool too, for like a surveillance. But you know, having real dogs, they would be able to be like it would be a defense until they got to me. So they'd have to go through the dogs to get to me. When I say that, like, you know, social breakdown. So that's how I do it. I'd have a couple, and then I'd have like, well, I might even have like 3, because I would probably have like some like chickens and something like a garden or whatever. But that would probably be in the community. You know what I mean? You know, I'd probably have like a little goat pen for goats or something like that, or whatever. Some animals. I would definitely have some animals. So, you know, but I would have a garden. I would definitely have like a greenhouse, some type of a greenhouse on the property. So like, this would probably never happen for me, but if it gives an idea for other people, if they have the resources to do it. As you know, you want to set up a perimeter to have some defense against, you know, maybe possibly other animals. You know what I mean? It's like obviously, like, you want some type of attack dogs. So like, if foxes or something was trying to get your chickens, or wolves or whatever, like, you have and you would hear the barking too. So like, you know what I mean? The best case scenario, if I had the resources, like hypothetically, like if I was to wake up tomorrow and then all of a sudden Bitcoin's $10 million, I don't know about the robot dogs, but I would still have that setup where I still have the inner perimeter be like the community, and then like there'd be fences, so the dogs, I would still have some type of dogs, and then maybe the robot dog, maybe drones. But I don't want nothing huge. I don't want like a huge mansion. I don't need nothing fancy. I don't see a point at, you know, why I would have it like that is for like family or people I care about, that, you know, they're tired of living in the matrix and they just want to, yeah, I would have it set up where we'd have Starlink. So we can have the matrix too, like, that's what I would have. But you would get away from society and people, and, you know, maybe it expands, maybe it turns into a little town in the future, and, you know, I think that'd be kind of funny. Who knows? I'm sure that the people who made these towns never thought like it would be as like big like Monroe or like Detroit when they initially started setting it up, because it was all woods at one point, you know. You know, there's definitely like pastures and stuff like that trees probably didn't grow, but it was mostly woods, I would think. I don't know, I didn't live back then, but I've always had that idea of like, man, if that would be my home, that would be my property, just nothing too fancy, nothing too big, just like almost like a room. That's all I need, is like a room, man. Like, I don't need a huge house with a bunch of rooms. So yeah, that's something that maybe gives other people ideas if they have the resources. Maybe it'll come true for me. Who knows, man? I don't know. What I do know is right now I need just to focus on making money, and because I don't, yeah, Bitcoin has gone up, man. Bitcoin has done good for me. You know, when I first got in it, it was like 17 grand, and then now it's 95 grand. So like, it has gone up. That was probably like the best performing asset out here besides Nvidia. And I'm not bragging, okay? So please don't think I'm bragging, because it could go to zero. I'm not. I just see like, I see the value, and other people think it's a Ponzi scheme, they think it's a joke, but I just think that I was early, and people probably think it's too late to get in now, and they think you have to have 95 grand just to have, you have to buy a whole Bitcoin, and you don't. You can buy a little bit. you can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. I think that's the minimum on Coinbase, where you have to buy at least $10 of a Bitcoin. So, and could you imagine if everybody's put $10 and bought Bitcoin, like how amazing that would be? I did a little analysis yesterday, and it said, because I seen somebody posted something on like a tweet, and it said they divided 21 million, which, okay, 21 million Bitcoin, well, 1 million of it, which hasn't moved, and that's supposed to be Satoshi. He's the one who created it. But 3 to 5 million of Bitcoin is in landfills. It's been lost forever because it's on people's hard drives, and they thought that it was worthless. And they're never gonna get that back. It's never, like, the device it was on was crushed. They're never gonna get it back. So when you look at that, and the probability of, it's probably a good, there might only be 17 million Bitcoin that can ever be mined, and who knows what other people have lost, you know, in the future, because the last of the Bitcoin will be mined in like 150 years. I don't know exactly, but it's over 100 years when the last of the Bitcoin will get mined. And what's crazy is, I think they can only mine 950 a day of Bitcoin, and I think, I'm not too sure, my memory is bad, you can do the research yourself, is they after so long, I think it's down to 400 or something now, they can only do that. It's like the creator made it so over time less and less you can mine, so that's less supply that gets put out there. And you can see the value because it's decentralized for right now. I'm not saying it's going to be forever, but for right now it's decentralized, and there's only a finite amount of supply. This is why my thing is the value of it just gonna keep going up. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's probably gonna be worthless. It's gonna be worthless through Mad Max if we have a Mad Max. But I think that if you're like betting on Mad Max scenario, investing in gold, I think that you'd be more worried about water, food, defending off of roaming bands of bandits. You're not going to really worry about your goal. You're going to be more worried about bullets, because nothing's going to be produced, and we'd have to literally live off the remnants of whatever we've created. We have a lot of resources, but and a lot of people would pass away if we go through Mad Max. A lot of most of the population would be gone. I would be gone too. Everyone I know, everyone I care about probably wouldn't make it either. So, and it's not just here, it would happen worldwide. If we went through Mad Max, so would everyone else. But I don't know, you know. I think that we're gonna keep moving forward, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know, I've to have the mindset to just keep moving forward. I've had a lot of time to think about things, a lot of time to reminisce, evaluate over this last 3 months, and that's huge. I think that, you know, from what I was looking up about people working in the past, is basically they worked every day. Yes, I mean, cooking, cleaning, chopping up firewood. In the winter, you know, I think you do less work in the winter, but I think like in the summer they worked really hard because of the crops. That's when they put in all their work. That's when they were working to their fingers to the bone. And then in the winter, I think there was more fasting. There was more conserving resources, because you still, like, you can chop up all the wood, but you still need to lug it in and keep the fire going and everything like that. So like they were working basically every day. But I think that there were times of the year where they did less work, obviously, and more like conserving.
She's friendly. She's
okay.
A shit talker.
Just making sure. So yeah, the whole notion of like working every single day, like, you know, we get a couple days off. No one really works 7 days a week, but just having like the weekend off, and I think that we kind of need more time off than just like 2 weeks. You know, you get a new job and you only get maybe a week off at the end of the year. So like I think we need more time off. That's what I think. Instead of having to continuously work. I just think that like the resources have gone all up, and there's not a lot of resources for us, down here. That's what it feels like. And it's like I blame the government for printing out a ton of money and being irresponsible, going to wars and paying, reckless spending. I blame that on them with inflation and everything like that. Poor leadership, corruption. But I also do blame the companies. I blame the corporate, the CEOs. And like, I think it's ridiculous that these people make so much more than the average person, like when the top guy at the company makes 300 times more than the bottom guy, I think that's a problem. I don't know if maybe nobody else thinks that is, but like you sign as a CEO or whatever, and you wreck the company and they want to fire you, but you still get like millions of dollars for like a severance package. Like, what's that like? If anybody is rich, what's that like, man? What's that like? Because like when regular people get laid off, I've never really essentially been laid off, but when a regular person gets laid off, like it's pretty much last day. I mean, you might get like 2 weeks notice of if you're lucky, but you don't get like after you're laid off. Once you don't work there anymore, you're not getting money afterwards. You're not getting residual benefits from it. You know, like these people that were given the opportunity to retire and get paid for like 9 months. I mean, that must be nice, you know. And the whole time, yeah, you're not sitting here. Well, even just getting another job, like they can just get a regular job and still get paid, you know, that would be awesome. So what's that like? Regular people don't, you know, get that type of opportunity. That's the thing. It seems like I understand brain power, knowledge, complex problems people have to figure out, but the problem is it's becoming a lot easier to do that with the technology that's been created. For instance, like if I was an office person, I would be using AI all the time and getting my work done really, really quickly, more efficiently, as opposed to somebody who's going with the old school way of doing things. We're shifting into a different paradigm, and what's scary about this shift is there's no plan for like the mass amount of people about to lose their jobs. We're not creating communities for people to go to. You know, yeah, people are about to lose everything, man. And a lot of people they're just going into it blindfold because either they're not paying attention or they don't know, or they think it's all a bunch of bullshit. Like, I connect dots, I look at patterns. I'm an abstract thinker, so I don't that's one of my intelligence. I'm not like one of these people that's like retains a bunch of information and can repeat it really, really easily. I'm not good at explaining things, obviously, but I do connect dots. I do recognize patterns, and it just kind of seems like people are like being led to the slaughter. It almost seems like we're gonna just like have social chaos. That's what it looks like. It doesn't seem like the elites really give a shit. They're not building the infrastructure. They're not building communities. Even the conservatives, even the people, you know, like what communities are they building? It's all about them. It's all about, oh, I need to preserve these riches. And the funny thing, they're godly people too. A lot of the people on the right, they're not building anything we're not building safety nets. That's the scary part, is we're not building safety nets for people to go to. We're not building retreats for people to like rebuild their lives for what's coming, man. It's just rip the band-aid off and see what happens. We know what's coming. Like, we know, they know. This is how I know a lot of the information, because I'm paying attention. And they're not doing anything. They're not building anything. They're not creating, like, okay, like how we're gonna implement a UBI. I mean, we pretty much already have that with welfare. But how are we going to, like, you're not just gonna have, you're gonna have a lot of people on welfare that's about to come up. You're either gonna have a lot of people on welfare, or you're just gonna have societal breakdown. We're gonna go to Mad Max. Like, is that like is that what the plan is? For us to like starve us out of resources so much where we can't, so we actually just start, you know, turning against each other and start actually, you know, destroying each other, killing each other. Is that what the goal is from the elites? Because we don't have anything else. Like, is that what they want? Because like they don't think that like that can show up on their doorstep. I don't understand what the whole logic is. Because like yeah, they might be like somewhat insulated from the chaos, but these mansions and these rich places aren't too far from us. You know what I mean? It's I don't understand what they're doing. Like, society's changing so rapidly. I don't know, maybe the dollar will be stronger. I don't know. Maybe Trump will get our debt like down, and I don't know. I've heard of Michael Saylor basically saying that going on to Bitcoin will reduce a lot of our debt, but I don't know. I know that it would give us more power if we, you know, I think that we have 100,000 Bitcoin or something, somewhere around there, to like 200,000. That's what, and China's pretty much even. But I think BlackRock has like a good 500,000 Bitcoin. You know, MicroStrategies, they just bought some more today. So you're probably going to see a spike in Bitcoin going up today. It might go over 100,000 at some point this week. You know, who knows? But like regular people like aren't paying attention. They're being distracted. And it's so weird that it's so weird that they kind of like, the elites kind of warn you before things, like they give you an opportunity, you know. It's like, are you paying attention? Well, if you're not paying attention, you're gonna get hurt bad. It's like it's intentional, and it's almost like they let the information come out. Like the Klaus Schwab book I read, you know, a lot of the technology, read, listened to, whatever, same difference. Still taking in information. I could read the book and not know anything I just read because I'm daydreaming. But hearing that like we're going towards we're not going to basically need manufacturing buildings because we're just like 3D print everything. We won't need to ship things because we'll you know, some things of course, but at some point in the future things are just going to be 3D printed. And the average person ain't going to read that book or listen to it. But you know, like people think that Alex Jones, oh, he knows everything. Well, it's because like they tell us what they're gonna do. I think it's to like kind of with their religion or whatever that they go about. Maybe it clears their conscience that they let the information come out and then they do it. You know, it's not just like they have the information but they don't release it. They release it so the people who are paying attention will prepare for what's coming, and the people who aren't either get left out, get left behind, get completely annihilated whenever, you know. That's what it seems like with these elites who run everything, who hate Trump, by the way. So you want, Trump will go down as one of the greatest if America doesn't collapse. You know, if America collapses, every other country is going to collapse as well. I don't think we're going to go to Mad Max. I just don't. I just think that things are going to change. I think that you will have different, transhumanism is going to happen. It's going to happen. The best way, what I think is going to happen, when people get like implants and things like that, the best way to stop the body from rejecting it is to get rid of the immune system altogether. And then you just have like nanobots that are basically your immune system. So You can go ahead and get rid of pieces, like have, like, because if you got to take different medicines to stop your immune system from rejecting things that are not naturally in your body. And whether it's like a pacemaker, something foreign, because it attacks it and it'll start problems, or like a limb that gets cut off, and or like you take somebody else's organ, you know what I mean? Like somebody passed away and they did an organ transplant on you now, but you have to take medicine because your body will reject it. The same goes for robotic stuff too, but I think that we'll probably just grow our own stuff at some point. It'll get to be to the point where my DNA, here's my DNA. They 3D print a heart, some lungs, based off of my my DNA, so it's mine and my body won't reject it. That'll be for the people who keep their immune systems. It makes me wonder if, like, what they came out, the medicine in 2021 was to destroy our immune systems. I don't know. I think it's kind of weird we can't talk about it. And I'm not even sure if I can even talk about it right now without. That's why I don't really say nothing about it, because it's so weird that there's some things I can't talk about on a channel because that's misinformation. Dude, that's what makes me think, like, these places are in on it. Why would you care unless, like, they're being told to say stuff, like told to, when you see like a narrative, a collusion with a narrative, and you can't talk about certain things that go against it, that's Orwellian. It's very interesting. I am very observant. I definitely am. I think that everyone is. Like, whatever I have, I think that everyone else has too. It is crazy to think about Gen Z just waking up one day. They're always on their phones and on their technology, and they just like get tired of it, and then they start coming out to the real world and it becomes cold. I remember tripping on acid one time, and it was a bad, scary trip. I just remember seeing like this huge building, kind of like a Section 8 building, gray. The environment just seemed so cold. It seemed so unhuman. Didn't feel like there's a lot of love, and what it felt like was I was kind of taking a peek in the future, and it scared the shit out of me. It gave me bad trips, man. That's what it feels like, is like the world's just getting colder, emotionless, not warm. And you can see that with people. You can see that with people interacting. Of course, you have like where it feels like, people have to be more nice than they have to be. But like when they're at work or whatever. But you get them outside of work, and like some people are friendly. It's usually like the older people, because they're used to being outside of the matrix. And usually older people are just nicer anyway, because they care more about relationships than they do about money and stuff like that. Traditionally, not too sure about that now. I think the boomers are just like really, really worried about their future. That's why they are so obsessed with the Social Security. And I understand not knowing how much longer you have left, and you can't go work a regular job, and that would be scary. Like, how am I going to pay for a roof? Or am I going to be home? I don't want to be homeless. So I understand where they're coming from. Why they're worried, But the thing is, it's kind of like you see a lot of them just kind of still acting like, not all of them, acting like they're like little kids. Like, you should, if you're concerned about that, maybe you should be more minimalistic. You know, I think that people won't really care about having as much possessions in the future. That's what I kind of want to deal with. Like, I don't want a lot to have a lot of possessions. It's more stuff for me to have to worry about. It would be cool to go to, like I was talking about yesterday, you know how cool that would be to like go to a community and I'm in the 1940s style, not socially, you know, not where it's like racist. Man, if people only want to be around certain, there could be communities for that. You want to be just around black people, whatever, because you're black. If you want to be around just white people because you're white, there are gonna be communities for that. I don't know if I'll be go visiting those communities, but when you go into the communities, you have to wear the attire. You have to assimilate. You know, that's the problem with everything how it is now, is everything is just so mixed up. For instance, and politics is so polarizing right now. So if you know what I'm wearing right now, I'm the enemy of the left, they think. You know, they automatically, oh, he's a Trump supporter. Yeah. But if I see somebody else wearing something like this, I'm like, okay, we have the same type of ideology. You know, I just was at U-Haul today and I seen this one woman in front of me that was wearing a mask. And I thought, yeah, I know. See, we have to separate. We have to be in different communities. That's what we need to reorganize society. You know, the whole concept of everyone becoming Muslim like the Muslims want, it's just such a no. It's cool to be able to go to and experience different cultures. Like, it would be cool if, like, to go into a Muslim place and kind of like you step in, I get into a robot taxi, it takes me to this community, and there's like a setup, like a welcoming committee, or welcoming, like, this is how you conduct yourself, this is what you wear, everything is like maintained by robots. You know, if you stay there long enough, like you turn back in your stuff when you leave, like your clothes or whatever. You don't want to take them with you because you can just come here any time and get a, you know how bad it sucks to like acquire all these different types of like clothes and try to maintain them and then just like kind of like sit in a closet. That's what I'm saying, is everything just kind of like sits in rooms and we don't even use them and they just like collect dust. But it would be cool if we can just like take these things that we have, instead of constantly making new stuff that like breaks or whatever because it's cheap to keep these profits going for these major companies, is like we make less stuff, and we only make stuff if we need it. Like, for instance, there's a community you go into, let me keep explaining. You show up, you watch a video, you know, this is how we do things, you need to go along with this if you want to, you know. You can just be a visitor or whatever, but you wear the clothes, and you can go in there and then you can change the clothes anytime you want. You know, you don't need to sit here and just hold on to it, and it just becomes until things are worn out, and then when it gets worn out, the robots can go ahead and design something, you know, to replace it, instead of like just so much waste, so much like human labor. Like people have to change their psychology of their identity being associated of what they do for a living. I don't know when this is going to happen, but this will definitely happen at some point. There'll be some type of utopia for sure, and there'll be like communities where people don't want to live like that. You know, there's not everything's high tech, or like, we're gonna have more robots, man. I hope that people and we're gonna need them. Like, listen, people are really, really bad at driving. Oh, look at that snake. I don't know. I think it's a gardener, but we don't really have poisonous snakes here. But anyway, you guys don't care about the snake. Anyway, so it's more like communal living. Like, you share things. You share tools. Like, when you don't need the tool no more, then you just take it and put it back, and the whole community can use it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you have your little place, and you need a tool. Well, you go to the community place and you get your tool, and you use it, and then you might get a couple tools. It's like a library, like the whole concept of the library. You check it out, and then you put it back when you don't need it no more. You don't just sit here and just hold on to it. Like, you use it for whatever the use is for, and then you put it back for other people to use. And you know, when you need it again, then you go get it again. Just it's stupid for us. Just like, I know this sounds like communistic or whatever, you know. There's certain things that we could do that we can keep with, like, personal property and stuff like that, but it just seems like a waste. You know, a big thing for me, when my grandparents passed away, when my grandma passed away, what I see is they had like so much stuff in their house, which it was absolutely amazing. But what the thing is, there's a lot of stress that got put on the kids to have to go through all that stuff, and, you know, kind of like get rid of it, throw stuff out, and honestly, the thing is, in the old days, it wouldn't be a big deal because they'd probably just take over the house and live there. But since everyone lives separately from each other, like far away from each other now, you kind of have to, like, you want to sell the house because you don't need it, so you want to get the resources. And it's kind of like, man, that's kind of sucky, you know. I wish I could buy my grandparents' old house in Washington State. That would be so cool. You know, one of my ex-wife's parents, like, if I was staying here, I wouldn't mind buying one of their old houses, like where they were raised in or something like that. And I know it sounds weird. I'm not too sure how that's gonna work with the houses, unless they, like, there'll be like different, there just needs to be more communities where people can go to, and where you're civil. It's a safe place. There's no crime. There's no need to steal. There's no need to do any of that because everything's accessible. And, you know, there'll be communities where people want to kind of be like old school and, like, have private property, and that they should be able to do that. But I think that we need to become more communal. We need to, when the robots are doing everything and you don't have anything else to do with your time, guess what? You got more time to spend with other humans. You got more time to explore. I was listening to Tim Pool, and it was a great culture war. This last one, it was a fantastic one. Last Friday, look it up. It was absolutely amazing. He's talking about all kinds of, like, social dynamics, stuff that I talk about. Talking about, like, socially how things are, and how, what was the point of that? What was the point of that? Basically, and this is why I said, like, this is why it intrigued me how people used to live, you know, how people used to all sleep in the same beds and stuff. And it was almost like if you wanted your own bed, you had to pay more for that, because, you know, going to different places, traveling, you would stay at strangers, and it was just, there was, like, business deals made. And when people were like, I remember, like, think about this, if you were raised around let's just say if you didn't have a room, or you had a share room at all, or you had a friend come spend the night, like, did you ever stay up when it was dark and just like talking? That's what they used to do. That's something that people are missing. And you know, I like to have my own space, have my own bed, unless it's like a wife or something. But that's how people used to live. So this is completely unnatural how we're living now compared to how people have lived for like centuries, thousands of years. And they probably live like that in different places right now in the world. It's good to be independent, but there comes a point where you get too independent. It's cool to have like different rooms for kids and stuff like that. That's definitely cool, but yeah, it just kind of less family. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have all the answers all the time.